Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Being Conscious. From today's video, we are going to start a new series on the science of consciousness, which is astrology. When we hear this word astrology, we normally associate it with limbo, jimbo, and other kinds of things which are considered largely by the public as superstitious, but we are going to dwell into the scientific aspects of this divine subject. Most of us view astrology as a way of predicting, but astrology is not a tool for prediction. Astrology is a tool for good diagnosis. Just like psychology and psychotherapy is a great way to analyze a human psyche, astrology is also a great way, a phenomenal tool to understand the various aspects of human consciousness. The sanskaras are the habits, the traits, the way the human brain is triggered, the way the human brain has a certain tendency, the subconscious tendencies, is basically what the astrological chart reveals. The astrological chart basically tells what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, and from today's video, we are going to start a series of videos wherein we are going to not only talk about techniques of prediction, but also what are the best ways to enhance and harmonize the energies. Because I'm not going to be talking about quick fix remedies or so-called totkas, but the focus of my videos and my entire content would be how to elevate our consciousness to such a level that we can harmonize our energies to the optimum. So starting with today's videos, to give you an overarching understanding, to give you an overarching summary, it basically constitutes of 9 planets and 12 houses. Imagine the fact that when you're born, right? Just imagine that you take a snapshot of the sky. If you take a snapshot of the sky, what happens is at particular zodiac, you have a certain planet and sitting in a certain constellation. And once you have that kind of positioning, there are certain permutations and combinations which gives an understanding of the psyche of the individual. What are the tendencies of the individual? Suppose someone is a great speaker, someone is a fluent speaker, and someone is not so fluent speaker. So we need to work on our weaknesses. And also another point is we can enhance our strengths. So let's dive deep into this divine subject. As I mentioned earlier, this series of videos is not going to be about some quick fix remedies or quick fix stuff, but it's all about engineering our consciousness to rise to a level where people get amazed by the brilliance you portray. The reason I'm being so much spiritually oriented with this divine subject is because originally, if you go back to history, if you go back to the ancient era, this science was used for spirituality. But over the years, over the millennium, over the decade, there has been a rampant misuse of this divine subject. But my channel has no intent to do so. So let's start with the first planet, which is considered the king of the solar system, the center of the universe, planet Sun. So when we talk about planet Sun, it is all about having that charisma, having that momentous magnetic personality, such that you are the attraction, you are the center of the universe. People with a prominent sun, the whole world revolves around them. People are captivated by their charisma. People are captivated by the very aura, the very presence such an individual emanates. Such is the power, such is the magic when a strong sun enters the room. Now, how do we even know that our sun is good? The greatest shortcut to know whether your sun is good or not, your immunity is great. You don't fall sick often. You always have a tendency to get up early in the morning. You typically get up before sunrise. So that means you have a great sun. You have a great sun placement. And you have a great amicable relationship with your father. There's a lot of bonhomie with your father. Now there's another nuance to it, that the planetary influences in our life change with time. Your sun might not be performing at its peak when you're young, but at the middle age or at the older ages, your sun might start getting momentum and start gaining power. We will go into the intricacies and the complexities and the nuances of this divine subject, but we are going to focus basic. We are going to start from basics to the advanced concept, but let's first focus on the basics, because the fundamentals are the core structure of the entire pyramid which you are going to build on this divine subject. So fundamentally, what does sun represent? Now let's talk from a scientific standpoint. Sun basically is the source of light. Sun is basically the source of energy, the source of all life in the planet. Imagine a day where there is no sun. Life would cease to exist. So if you have a good sun in your sun placement, that means you are naturally centered, you're naturally aligned. And how does a person become naturally centered or aligned? When he is always focused on his purpose. There's a beautiful quote which says that a purpose of life is a life of purpose. Until you have a great purpose in life, life seems meaningless. I'm reminded of the book by Viktor Frankl called The Man's Search for Meaning, where all his life he was in a concentration chamber, and in the concentration chamber he was subjected to the most grave atrocities, to the most grave tortures. But the only thing which kept him going was a well-defined purpose. Because when you have a well-defined purpose, your energies are focused in one direction. And when your energies are focused in one direction, then everything aligns. Everything aligns as per your need. And this is why it is said that when you put your sunlight on a magnifying glass, the rays of the sun are so focused that it can burn a piece of paper. But when it is scattered all around, that focus is disturbed. So another great point to know whether your sun is good or not. If you have laser sharp focus, if you know what you're going to do for the day, that means you have a great sun. If every hour of your day is planned, if you have a great time management system, if you are clarity of life, if the thought process you have is clear, crystal clean, pristine, if you have a list of goals that these are my deliverables for the day and you are able to achieve them, at least you have a list of goals. That is the first thing here. Having a clear mindset says that your sun is great. If you are someone, understand this, that we have 12 zodiac signs, and in the first zodiac sign lies the sign of Aries. Now Aries is basically representing our physical body, and our physical body basically is where sun exalts. Now what does exaltation mean? Exaltation basically means that sun is in its most comfortable position. Imagine that you are in your own house. At your own house, you are comfortable, right? Now, I'm sitting in my house and I'm comfortably speaking with you on the other side of the camera because I am sitting in this house. But let's say that you go to your enemy's house. Obviously, it's that natural that you will feel a lot of discomfort. But what if you are in your own house? You will feel like a king. And this is what exaltation means. Exaltation means that the planet is really comfortable in that sign. Now what does that mean? Now that means that the planet is able to give its energies to the maximum potential. Now we will dive into the deep aspects of it, that there are two aspects of it. One is the sign, other is the houses. So in the sign placement, Aries is the exaltation sign, and houses are also a whole together different concept. We'll come to that eventually. But firstly, let's focus on what this planet represents. Sun is basically a planet which has a royal status. A person who has kingly demeanor, a kingly vibe surrounds that person. This shows that your sun is excellent. You have a great sun placement. Your digestive fire is generally good. Now, if you look at the human body, there's a saying in Sanskrit which says, Yat pindeta brahmande. What is in your body is also in the universe. What that mean? It means that whatever is in your body, the subtle layers, they are also there present in the universe. So if you have a great digestive fire, if you are able to metabolize whatever you eat, because remember, eating good is one part of the puzzle, but having the ability to digest it effectively is the second part of the puzzle. And without great digestion, anything great you consume doesn't really digest because your metabolic juices are not so effective. So that means having a good sun means a great digestive fire. Now, you might have noticed, as we have spoken so much about sun, that there are subtler aspects that, let's say that you don't have any of these kind of stuff, right? You don't have any of these kind of symptoms within your system. So how do we manage it? The way to manage it is to actually improve that particular skill set. So you can develop leadership skills. So how do you become a leader? You might be saying that I'm someone working in a normal corporate job. How do I act like a leader? The first step of leadership is self-leadership. When you are able to lead your day, when you are able to constantly move from 1 hour to the hour in an organized way, that's leadership in action. That's powerful leadership in action. When you are having the drive to achieve your goals, when you are having the drive, the clarity, the focus to be able to move forward one step after the other, to move towards your goals with zero distractions, that's a clear-cut sign that you're a leader. You might not have a lot of people who follow you, but you lead by example. Because when you lead by example, when you are a rising star in your particular field of work, people naturally gravitate towards you because you lead by example, not by preaching. So that's a sign of a strong personality. That's a sign of a strong sun in play. Now, let's talk about the ways to harmonize your sun energy, right? And another thing is, if your sun is not working well, you might not have a cordial relationship with your father. And you might be someone who's lethargic, who has a lot of lack of energy in his body. Now, the way to deal with this, the way to nullify that, the way to improve your sun is to do something exactly opposite, right? So let's say you are someone with a weak digestive system. So how do you take care of it? The first step is to enhance your digestive fire. So how do you enhance your digestive fire? There are ways to do it. One is doing a great 12 rounds of Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar is a great way to improve your sun. Another way is to get up early in the morning. Excuse me. Another way is to constantly work towards your goals. Have a clear plan of action saying that these are my goals for today and make sure that you're able to hit those goals. Another way to harmonize your sun is to go and bathe yourself in the morning sun. Because when you bathe yourself in the morning sun, you are basically taking the energies of the solar, the actual sun within you. And within you, when you consume the solar energy, your body is automatically rejuvenating. And when you have a good sun, how do you know if your sun is improving? All the things which I mentioned in this video, they start to improve. And one thing to note here is when sun is good, it also gives a very high ego. Now, ego is a complicated subject and which requires a lot of explanation and which requires a lot of deep dissection. But to put it simply, ego generally means that you are proud of yourself. You are having a lot of pride because of your achievements. Now, whether that's good or bad is a different topic and we'll dive into it some other day. But in generally speaking, person with a good sun, he generally has a good personality, a strong demeanor, a strong personality, a strong sense of willpower, and is able to smash his goals. Because a powerful sun person has a charismatic, a regal body language, a regal mindset. And with a powerful sun, you naturally demand respect. And another quality of a good sun, this person is quite respectful of others. And because of the reason that he's quite respectful of others, others also are respectful of him. He's well learned because Sun is the natural ruler of the fifth house of the zodiac. And it excels in the sign of Aries. So the Aries sign is the sign of the physical body. And fifth house is the house of your vision. So how clear is your vision depends on how strong your sun is. If your sun is really working well, you have a crystal clear vision of your life. You know what needs to be done 5 years from now, 4 years from now. You have a complete clarified vision for life. And if your sun is afflicted, you don't have a good vision. You don't know what you need to do in 6 months, in 1 year or 2 years. But if your vision is clear, a crystal clear vision demands respect. Because you naturally know what is your plan of action. A good sun person always strategizes. So now you know whether your sun is great or whether your sun is average or whether your sun is weak. Now, when you have a great sun without any afflictions, so when I say of afflictions, I'm talking about if planets like Saturn or the North Node, Rahu or Ketu are afflicting sun. So in those cases, the confidence distorts, right? So we'll get into the nuances of it when we talk about the different conjunctions of the planet. But if you have a good sun, confidence is natural to you. You don't have to put effort to develop confidence. You are blessed with natural confidence, effortless ease of confidence. And if you don't have that, what needs to be done? Remember, sun exalts in the first sign of Aries. And what is the first sign of Aries? The sign of Aries is your physical body. So the more you work out, the more you exercise, the more you work on yourself, your confidence blasts. Your confidence moves to the next level. Because every time you work yourself, every time you hit that goal, whatever you plan, your confidence rises and your respect rises in your own eyes. And when your respect rises in your own eyes, you become invincible. The reason for invincibility, the way to become invincible is not to read fancy books, but it's to hit those goals which you have accustomed, which you have planned for yourself. That is the secret of invincibility. And this is the whole concept of the planet Sun. Hope you enjoyed my first video on this series wherein we are going to explore first the planets, then the houses, then the constellations. And then later on, we'll progress into the nuances and the conjunctions and the aspects. Thank you. If you really loved my video, do subscribe to my channel. Also like and share. Thank you so much and I'll meet you in the next video. Bye.